Before heading to the video, if you haven't subscribed the channel, do subscribe it and don't forget to click the bell icon for the latest update notification. If you like the video, do like, comment and share. Stay tuned with learnway.co. Happy learning! So hello and welcome everyone to the Aspire to Inspire interview series by learnway.co. I am with you Diksha Singhal, your moderator for the day, and with me I have Rahul Anand, a software developer at Cognizant who has done a career transition to senior associate in data science at Affin Group. So first of all, welcome Rahul to this interview series.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Diksha. It's wonderful to have you.
So first of all, Rahul, yeah, absolutely. So I would really first like to know that how long it has been to become a software developer in the data science field.
So it's been 1.5 years now since I've been in this field, and yeah, the transition has been very good. I've been enjoying my work, and I'm pretty sure whoever enters in this field feel more or less similar the way I am feeling right now.
All right, all right. So how difficult was it for you to, do this career transition thing? And what clicked you, I should do a career transition to data science?
It was more of the kind of work which I was doing before the transition. I mean, it's my personal experience that I was more or less doing similar kind of like it was very redundant with the work that I was doing. Everything was very redundant. So the usual cycle was like we get the requirement, we do things, and most of the times we don't have any idea that what we are doing. We're just doing for the sake of like completing the requirement. So that was somewhere bothering me from quite a long time, and I thought that I should go for something new. And the technology also that I was working previously was at the very bottom of the pyramid, so I wanted to reach at the top of that pyramid. So cybersecurity and data science were the options for me at that point of time. So I chose this field.
Amazing, amazing. So, starting towards or heading towards our main course of the interview, I would first like to know that what is the basic difference being a software developer and a software developer in data science?
Okay. So, as I mentioned briefly as well, when you are a software developer, I was a backend developer. So most of the things that you do, you don't get to visualize that. Most of the things that you do while you code is just for the sake of completing the requirement. And when you enter in this field in the very initial phases, you have absolutely no idea what's the business want and what is the thing that business wants us to do in order to gain some sort of benefit or some sort of they're solving some sort of agenda. So there's always a basic agenda, or there's always a basic what you can say a profit or benefit involved in this, but those things are not disclosed to you when you are a fresher or just 1 or 2 years experience into software industry. So that was the issue. Like I was doing things for the sake of just doing and didn't know what gain it is doing to my company or my client. So that was one. Talking about personally, it was not very satisfactory to do something which you cannot visualize for me. So whatever I'm doing, just doing it in the back end, and front end team is developing that, and they are able to visualize that. So that was something which was non-satisfactory to me. And the third point would be like the work was very redundant. So either I'm rarely I'm doing something from scratch, and most of the times I'm just doing enhancement work. So didn't just justify that you're doing a software development, just be a software enhancer, you can say. So that was something which was not at all satisfactory for me. But when I transitioned into this field, it was from the day one, it was told to me that the client wants this thing and you have to work on this scenario, and you have to hypothesize this particular scenario where you will be getting a requirement. Now you are building your own hypothesis that with this kind of scenario I'll be thinking about how to think about solving this kind of problem. And then you get into those phases where you will be choosing those algorithms that you have studied, and finally selecting that and implementing it. And you will definitely get to visualize each and everything at each and every point. So apart from few algorithms that are black box, most of the things are white box that you can visualize at every step. So that is very satisfactory to me. And even the final result that you get you sometimes, most of the times, you get to know that, yeah, with my particular this kind of work, my company or my client or my stakeholder is going to benefit in such and such amount of dollar. So that is
Okay.
also very satisfactory for me. So yeah.
Amazing. 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 So this was really amazing that you felt that you should visualize your work. That was really amazing at your part. So I would like to now know that how hard it was to learn the open-ended concepts of data science for you.
So to be very honest, it was not very easy, and it was not very tough as well. You just have to be
Okay.
a regular worker. You don't have to be doing something very extraordinary. You just have to do and strike things regularly.
All
So
right.
my point was like, uh, the thing is like, when you are coming from a backend development team, and as a backend developer,
Mm-hmm.
the transition in Python coding seems to be pretty easy. I mean, it's
Okay.
easier. So that
Mm-hmm.
was one thing. But mostly it was like understanding the concepts of statistics and machine learning. So
All
that
right.
was that was very crucial part. And also, if you don't know SQL, so that also becomes very crucial. So
All right.
it's just that you have to work on those things at a regular basis. So my thing was like, whenever a particular topic was discussed in
All right.
class, so I
Mm-hmm.
used to just go through the video lectures again at home. I used to
Okay.
make notes, and then I used to on the weekends I used to do that. I was in weekend class, so that
Okay.
was there. And then when those notes are completed, I used to keep some space for updating those notes,
All
uh,
right.
from using different other websites, like Medium. You can download Medium app for these updates,
Right.
and if you want to search a new topic, so that was there, and few other websites as well. So
All
those
right.
were helpful. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how I transitioned
Okay.
in small baby
Amazing.
steps.
Amazing. So here I just got a very small point. You kept some space for the updates of data science. Like while preparing the notes, there you had a space for the updates. And I think that is very important, especially for the interview round, to keep yourself updated. So I
Yeah.
would like to know that what kind of things you practiced yourself for being updated, like whether YouTube videos, attending webinars, books, or blogs, what all things were included in it.
Okay. So when I wanted to move into this field. So there was small targets that I wanted to make. Like uh, I was never a bookworm or kind of guy who just get a book and start studying from end to end. So that was
Right.
not my kind of like studying methodology. I used to follow small topics, and used to set small targets
All
for
right.
either for 1 day or 2 day or an entire week, but not more than that. So when I make a target that I have to finish up within 1 week, so I used to do that. So that was the entire thing or methodology, you can say, of studying that was there in my mind. And one thing that I wanted to mention was like, uh, those small gaps or those small spaces that I left in my notes for each and every topic was just there to get those things updated, like and especially for the interview, as you mentioned. So either I can mention a question related to that interview for
All
that
right.
particular topic,
All right.
and I can mention a small answer for that. So just in case, if I go through those topics again, I get to know that, yeah, in this particular topic, this particular interview question can be asked. So that was one thing.
All right.
And the main agenda behind doing this thing was that we used to get the basic and intermediate level of knowledge from the institutes, and that is very important to build up the basic, because most of the interviewers and most of the industry work as well, like 80% of the things carry on with this uh, basic knowledge only, but those
Absolutely.
20% is also important to cover. So for those, you have to research a bit, like from YouTube channels, or websites like Analytics Vidya, Medium, or Towards Data Science. So these were there. Some
All right.
important blogs you will get for particular topics. In YouTube channel, you can get multiple professors' YouTube videos from Stanford and all.
All right.
So those usually help if you want to just deep dive into the mathematical aspects of statistics and machine learning.
Amazing. Amazing. That is amazing. I think you have portrayed a proper or a clear picture for how one can, update himself or keep himself updated. So that is really amazing on your part. Uh, Okay, so I have been hearing a lot from different students that coding is a very great chunk of a big chunk of data science or not. There is a dilemma among the students. So, at your part, what was your experience of having coding? Like, what was the level of coding in your prior experience versus now? Being familiar with data science.
Okay, that's very interesting question, because most of the people just get to get into coding, and it's very important, but at the same time, it's not very difficult to do coding in data science. Being
All
a
right.
software developer, I was into very old technology, and I had, even for a Hello World program, I had to write. You won't believe, I had to write three different pages of code, and it
Okay.
was more than 200 lines. And in
Okay.
Python, you can just write "Hello World" with a sign of exclamation, and that's it. Done.
Mm-hmm.
You'll
Right.
get the print of that.
Right.
So it's that simple, first of all. And even if you like R, suppose somebody is from C and C sharp background, and he has been coding throughout his life, so he or she might be liking R as well, and he will find a delight in coding Python. So Python is that easy. So it's not at all
Absolutely.
very difficult, because when I transitioned, even I had this the similar doubt that, yeah, Python might be difficult, or I'll be facing some sort of issues. So few important topics are like loop and these things, the pandas and numpy. But
All
yeah,
right.
once you get into those things, and once you clear those things, uh, it's a paradise to code in, especially in Python.
All
And
right.
one more advice is, like, you just have to focus on one programming language initially.
Okay.
Once you
Mm-hmm.
complete that, then you can choose any other language, maybe R, Java, C sharp, whatever, in order to make that transition. But just focus on one programming language at a time. And once you get a feel of, yeah, that I have done this much coding, and I'm confident in using it in an industrial projects, then you can make the transition for the other one. So that's the piece of advice I
Absolutely.
would give.
Absolutely. That is amazing. And I think that you have been highlighting Python a lot. So probably what I feel is Python is a very easy and a very basic language one can start with if want to learn coding for data science. Like there is
Correct.
specifically a Python for data science thing which is there. So I think that is what the students can go for. So that is
Yeah,
good.
correct.
Exactly. So I now want to know that what were your learning strategies or what were your, learning mantras as someone who was a full-time working professional? Because obviously I believe that it might be really very hectic or, schedule ko manage karna would be a difficult task for you.
Yeah, so yeah, it was difficult. I won't say that it was easy. That's the only thing, that for a working
Mm-hmm.
professional, for a student, it might be easier to cope up on things like,
Right.
if they start from scratch,
Right.
but they do not have that advantage of some industrial experience as well. At the same time, they
Exactly.
won't know those business aspects of the particular project. So it's a similar, or 60/40 situation for a student
Right.
and a working
Right.
professional. The only thing is, they have advantage of time, we do not. So it was like, for weekends I just skipped my outings, my movie time, my everything.
All right.
And that level of dedication was required and will be required for 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
So that is a very clear indication
Mm-hmm.
for making a transition.
Right.
So that was there. And during the weekdays, when I had to go to office and do my work and everything, so 8 to 9 hours of work, and then coming back and facing traffic of Bangalore, everything involved. So it used to kill 12
Right.
hours per day. But I used to make sure that I get extract 1 hour every day in the morning, and 2 hour every day in the evening. So 3 hours per day, in
All
order
right.
to go through things and update my notes, as I mentioned earlier, update my notes, and deep dive into the topics that I've studied already in the institute.
All right. So as you were mentioning about the things you were practicing during your learning strategies or journey, so I would like to know that what was your course structure, or what was the structure of the concepts which you studied, because I think that is where the students are confused that how to start and then what has to be done. So I would really like to know about that.
Okay. So Diksha, as I mentioned that you need to go step by step, and first step would be obviously learning Python. So
All right.
and it was mentioned in the course structure as well in
All right.
LearnDay. So Python was the first thing that we were taught, and that was very important as well, because not only learning the basic concepts of Python helps you to code uh, into statistics and doing the analysis in statistics. It also is essential to understand the packages that are involved in Python,
Right.
to get to know about the algorithms and what are the hyperparameters that are like issued and associated with those algorithms. So Python as a programming language, or R, if you want to start, is very important. So in our structure, it was Python, and it was pretty good. So the
Okay.
initial 1 month was given for at least, yeah, 1 month was given for Python, and that was important to build the basics and intermediate level concepts of Python. Then we moved into statistics part. So that was also important because SQL is very unrelated in terms of staging things from right from
Okay.
Python to statistics to machine learning. So
Okay.
this is core data science part where you have to use these three subjects per se, where you'll be using Python concepts and statistics concepts and machine learning. But SQL is mostly used for extracting data. So these three were the main three uh, subjects or topics that were
All right.
covered inside the syllabus. And once
Mhm.
we finished Python, we moved into statistics. We learned how to do the data analysis and do exploratory data analysis, and what transitions that you have to make in order to enhance your data into statistics, what kind of testing that you have to do for the data in statistics, and then all the algorithms that are involved in order to get the prediction or forecasting from your machine learning algorithms as well.
Right.
So that was
Right. All right. I think you have very well picturized or portrayed, like someone can really visualize how the things have to be done. So that is really very nice on your part and amazing. Now, I would like to know that the end destination of the learning journey is obviously facing the interviews, right? So I would like to know that what was your interview experience? How did you practice? And what were the different levels of the interview? Also, that what was the level, if we talk about in terms of questions, like what was the difficulty level of those interview levels?
okay. So basically, in most of the companies, I will talk about the rounds of interview first. So there are three rounds in most of the companies. Like there are two technical, one managerial round.
Okay.
Uh, Even in I've faced interviews in product based and services both, and most of them
All
have the
right.
similar structure of two technical rounds and then one managerial, and the final round will be salary discussion. So, uh, the first two rounds are very crucial. First of all, especially the first one. So in the first round of your interview, mostly people will target your Python and statistics and machine learning concepts, along with
Okay.
if that particular project or that company or that person who is working in that particular company is working with the data, he or she will be interested to know your concepts on SQL as well.
Okay.
But mostly they will focus on these three things: Python, statistics, and machine learning.
All
So
right.
it's very, very important to understand the basic concepts of statistics and machine learning, both, because even few things which will sound to you very basic and very theoretical, it will be
Right.
important for you for the interview, for if you are preparing for interview. So
Mm-hmm.
talking about the interview aspect, even if that particular topic or particular concept is not used in your practical day-to-day life of data science, uh,
Okay.
then also it gets important when you are making the transition initially.
Right. Right.
So I would say that just like we used to do in engineering, we used to skip one topic and cover the other one. just to give just to take examination and pass. You can't do that here. So you have
Okay.
to just cover each and every topic. You have to understand each and every topic.
Right.
And because you never know, the interviewer might be interested in A and you will be knowing B, so you never know
Absolutely.
that. So
Absolutely.
whatever is there in LearnBay course structure, you have to follow it diligently, because it is designed for basically it is designed for interviews. It is designed for professionals like us. And most, I mean 80 to 90% things that you study from the institute will be covering the industrial aspect as well.
All right.
And obviously there will be things that you will learn in industry, but yeah, this thing is there. And yeah, again, coming back to the interview section, the interviewer will be expecting that you not only explain the concept clearly, you make them visualize. Your project that you are explaining, that should be very much related to your data storytelling. So
Right.
suppose if I'm mentioning one project, it should start from very basic, very beginning, that what was the requirement, what was the hypothesis, how did you tackle that hypothesis, how do you test that hypothesis, what was your solution design, what was your planning in order to execute that particular project,
Right.
and what was the technical things that were involved in that. When you get
Okay.
into when you explain those initial part, when you explain those initial part of the project, like how did you get to know the requirement, what was the requirement, how did you get the data, what was the hypothesis. If you clearly explain these things, and if the interviewer is convinced that yeah, you have actually worked on these projects, then only he will go to the technical aspect of your project or your
All right.
skill set. Otherwise he will be stuck in that loop only for 15-20 minutes, and then you'll get the idea that yeah, he has understood that you don't have industrial experience or something like that.
Absolutely.
So that is very important. So just to give that person a clear picture that yeah, you have done this particular project. Then when you
Okay.
talk about the technical aspect of it, then it will be like he will try to strike you down with some set of questions which he might already have prepared, or in 90% of the cases, whatever you will speak from that very word or that very concept only, the next question will arise. So that is also important, that you have to choose your words smartly. You
Absolutely.
cannot choose your any word inside your answer which can be used as a tool against you, and you do not know that. So that is there.
Absolutely.
That is a
Absolutely.
very important thing to keep in mind, because 90% of the times you will be asked whatever you are speaking in your next question. So once you give 5 or 10 interviews, you will get to know that yeah, what will be the interviewer's next question,
All
and
right.
that mostly covers it all.
All right. I think here's we have got the pro tip for this session, that when you are in the interview experience situation, when you are giving your interviews, you must be very careful about what you say. Basically, you shouldn't say anything which could be harmful to you only, or which could be work against you. Basically, should not lead to very much of cross questioning, right? So that
Exactly.
is really, yeah.
Yeah. Apart from that, I would say that your CV should be very convincing. It's because
Okay.
even I take interviews and
Mm-hmm.
I've taken uh, multiple interviews until now in my company, and it's like it has been a very awful experience, to be very honest. So
Okay.
the selection rate for my even I know I have made a transition, but there's a certain level of expectation that somebody carries even if he has made the transition. If I'm interviewing for someone below my level or at my level, so I'll be expecting that he or she should know at least 70 to 80% of what I know. Okay,
Right.
so that is a clear expectation from anybody. You cannot expect that yeah, you have 50% of you have answered 50% of the questions that an interviewer has asked, and you'll get selected. That is not the scenario, because for an interview as well, he has some pressure from the company, from the HRs, to select the
Absolutely.
right candidate. So that is
Absolutely.
always there. There is no shortcut into this. So it's very important to make your CV very convincing first. It's very important to articulate your CV, articulate your projects in a way that it should sound convincing, and then the technical aspect will come into picture, and that should be crystal clear as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this was really, really amazing coming from you about everything for the interview. So that is really very nice. But see, what I believe is that after joining or at the end of the day, people are somewhere, very much into knowing about the compensation or the salary structure which they get becoming a data scientist or becoming or coming in the field of data science, because that is again a motivator also, and also a necessity to know. So I would like to know that what was the compensation gain people will get if they switch to data science from being a software developer or from being a similar profile.
Okay, so there it's a multi-stage question, to be very honest, because
All
when it
right.
comes to money, people would like to know in detail. So I'll go in very detail.
Okay.
So there are multiple things that come into picture. So first, the company that you are interviewing. So is it a product-based company or is it a service-based company? So
All
service-based
right.
company have a percentage band in which they can give you hikes. So suppose some company has 30 to 40% criteria, whatever your previous salary is, they'll give you a hike of 40% or 50%, something like that. For some product based company, it is a fixed band that yeah, they will give you 15 lakhs, and that's all. It doesn't
All
matter
right.
whether your previous salary was 4 lakh, 5 lakh, or 8 lakh. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
these there are two things involved. Again, other important factor is your experience. So what is your total work experience? That is also very important. The kind of interview that has gone in all the rounds. So HRs do take feedback from the interviewers, and sometimes they discuss, if not from the person who has taken your first or second round, they will discuss the salary from your manager or something, or at a director level, whoever has taken that final round of interview,
Right. Right.
from those people. So that is important. Again, and what is your current salary? That is the most important. So people, I would say that people who are trying to make a transition, yes, this is a new technology, and every new technology, if you learn that diligently, you are you have elevated to that level, or you can say
Right.
you have earned that level to earn more.
Right. Right.
So that is something which is very satisfactory, because not only you're doing good work, you're earning good money. So that is there.
Absolutely.
And talking about the real dollar value over here, so so once your salary is above I would say 7-8 lakhs, and your experience is within 3 years, uh, so you can expect 100% hike if
Okay.
your notice period is between 2 months.
Okay.
If your salary is below 5 lakhs and your experience is 2 to 3 years, you can expect double, or in some cases triple
Okay.
uh, of what you are earning right now. But it is again a staged process. Like you cannot ask, if your salary is suppose 5 lakh, you cannot ask for 15 lakhs right away. You have to
Absolutely.
go gradually. You can ask
Mm-hmm.
for 50-60% from the first company, and
Right.
you can continuously look for other jobs as well, and you can put down your paper, and within those 2 months you can search for other jobs, and tell them that you already have that offer, and
Absolutely.
what hike you are going to give on top of that. So these things
Absolutely.
are there, and this is a very common scenario in Bangalore and any IT
Mm-hmm.
industry city. So
All
this
right.
is always there. So within those 2 months are very crucial, and within those 2 months you can take your salary from A to 3 into A. So that is
Right.
something which is there. And
Mm-hmm.
talking about myself as well, I had multiple offers, and that's how I made my salary to A to Z.
Right.
So that is it.
Right. Very nice. So, but here I have a small query. Like, if someone is, doing a career transition to data science, so we can say that he or she is a beginner to data science, right? Because the prior experience is of a different domain. So, how far it is good to, keep your offer forward towards the company against what the company offers to you, and what kind how you can correlate your prior experience to data science so that you make worth your offer.
Okay, so it all comes for within the interview only. So your CV will mostly reflect what kind of work and what is the duration of work that you have done. So
All right.
your duration of those projects that you have mentioned in your CV, kind of projects that you have mentioned in your CV will speak out for itself. But when you are saying that you have 2 years of experience in data science, you have to be prepared for that level of interview as well. 2 years or 3 years
Absolutely.
of experience. So
Absolutely.
that is very important. So you have to have, you have to follow a guideline that, I'm making a transition. I'm showing that I have experience in this particular field. So I'll have to have this level of knowledge. So you'll get to know by studying within those 6 months and by giving multiple interviews as well. So that is there. And apart from that, when you showcase it into the industrial projects, that becomes very crucial, because once you have that hands-on experience, it's not like what you have studied will not be used. It will be used. So I have personally used two of the algorithms in my project that I've studied in Learnway.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not like you won't be using that. It's just for studying aspect, and
Mhm.
it's a different world out there in the industry. It's not like that. The data is same, your concepts are same. You just have to apply it. So when you get into that industry and when you start making your moves, if you have studied those things and you get a data just for the enhancement sake, or even for development sake, you will get to know that I can use these particular algorithms or concepts
Absolutely.
that I've
Right.
studied in industry as well. It
Mhm.
will be a bit difficult, and obviously it will be a bit hardworking phase as well for you in industry as well,
Mhm.
because 6 months for studying and 6 months transition industry,
Yeah.
you can say that it will take a 1 year entire transition.
All
But
right.
again, that will be, the basic concepts and the intermediate level concept that you have studied, that will be very helpful. So 80% of your work
Absolutely.
will be done by that.
Absolutely. That's really very nice. So you have been, talking a lot about CVs, like one should be very, good with the CV. But apart from it, what I believe is that nowadays, since we are on digital platform, and apart from it also, social media platforms, or especially platforms like LinkedIn, play a very crucial role to depict a picture about you. So what was your way of designing a LinkedIn profile that would, give a good picture about you, or depict the actual or true picture about you?
Okay. So, uh, yeah, LinkedIn profile becomes a very important, thing that when you are trying to get a job or something like that. Nowadays, LinkedIn also has that hashtag and open to work thing going on your
Absolutely.
profile. So
Right.
that this way, recruiter can just focus on you and things like that. Back in the day when I was searching for jobs, those things were not there. So it was very important to articulate your CV in a standard manner, so that recruiters get to know that a CV is particular. I mean, something which is attached in your profile. So that is
Right.
very important. Your
Mm-hmm.
profile picture should be attached in your profile. That is very important. So
Right.
these things are, sometimes people ignore that, but these things are important.
Okay.
Uh, Clearly demonstrating whatever is there in your CV, in your LinkedIn profile, is very important. Each and every project. In fact,
Right.
I would say, even if that particular project is not mentioned in your CV, you can mention it in your LinkedIn profile. So
All
you
right.
can do that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you should get it updated. Suppose you are working in a particular field, and you have worked on and why in the industry. Suppose you have studied something, and you want to articulate your experience in that particular thing, and you have had an hands-on experience. So why don't you just go into that profile of yours and update that particular algorithm
Absolutely.
mentioning a
Absolutely.
project? So that
Mm-hmm.
helps. What it will do is, it will indicate other recruiters to look into your profile in this particular domain, like in data science. You have to mention that you are a data science professional, as I mentioned in my
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn profile as well. So that is
Right.
very, very important. Okay, even if your profile, even if your job title is something else, associate or senior associate, but you know that you have been working into data science domain, and your internal job role, every company has an internal job role. So ours is always data scientist or data science professional. So you can mention it clearly in your projects as well. As a data scientist, I've worked in it, or my profile was data scientist, and
Right.
you can mention in your CV that
Right.
my job title is this, but my job role was as a data scientist or data
Mm-hmm.
analyst, whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
that is there. And it's very important to get it updated right from the bottom to the beginning. So you cannot skip any part where you have even if you have sat on bench, or ideally you should mention that you were working in this particular
Right.
time frame as well. So that is important. Apart from that, not only LinkedIn always helps, but Naukri is one other platform which will be very helpful, because it will give you the maximum number of calls. So it's
Okay.
very important to update your Naukri profile daily. I'm not talking about updating CV is there. You can just delete and upload it again on a daily basis. But once you're hunting for jobs, it's very important to right in the morning of before 10 a.m. Suppose when recruiters come and check your profiles, you have to be at the very top, and you have to update before 10 a.m. or something like that. So this is usually I used to do before 10 a.m. I
Okay.
used to update my Naukri profile in order to get the highlight that I wanted from recruiters
All
and get the
right.
calls. So
All
in
right.
that way, if you are not even applying for some jobs, then also you get the calls, you get the mails that whether this particular job is there in our market. Are you interested in that or not? So these things are there.
Amazing, amazing. I personally really like that 10 a.m. funda which you discussed. I think that was something new which I heard, that it's very unnecessary that we know that when the recruiters are there at the time. So before that only we update our profiles on different social media or different platforms for searching the jobs. That is really very nice. So now coming towards the question that how did you came to know about LearnWay and how was your experience at LearnWay?
Huh. Okay, so I was searching for institutes in Bangalore for data science, for studying data
Mm-hmm.
science. So I had 3 key points in my mind that I had to I made that I have to search for an institute which has very good course structure. That was my first requirement. Second was it should be having very good faculty, uh,
Right,
which which is very important when you are studying for something very new.
right,
So it's very important. So I have gone for the reviews and talked to people who have studied, and asked about the teachers, and talk to the institute as well when I was when I was searching for a good institute, and searching for faculty members who are having industrial
right.
experience as well. So
Mm.
that was very important for me, that somebody who is from a university or something is not teaching. Somebody who has industrial experience, that person is teaching. So that was very important for me, because I had to make transition in the industry. So
Right.
that was there. I was not going for any degree or something. And third thing was the cost. So these three were
Okay.
the important factors for me,
Mm.
as I was not earning this much back then,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Okay.
So these three were the important factors for me. And passed through multiple institutes, but LearnWay really stand out in these three checkpoints which I had in my mind.
All right.
And at that point of time, and I made I took the admission, and the entire process was very smooth. Especially, I would say, my learning process in Python, machine learning, statistics, and SQL, because these four are the pillars of data science. Yeah, obviously
All
deep
right.
learning is also required, and
Mm-hmm.
you at least must have the basics of deep learning in order to get into the industry. But these four are the backbone or back pillars of this particular field.
Right.
So
Right.
especially these four subjects were very, very nicely articulated, both in terms of course structure and in terms of people who are being taught, who are being teaching in this. Like one of the teachers that I remember was Utkarsh. He used to take our statistics and machine learning classes, and he
All
was
right.
amazing.
All right. All right. That is really sweet coming from you. And obviously, my last question to you would be that what would you advise to, the fellow students who belong to the similar field of software developer or from a engineering domain and want to do a career transition in data science? So what will be your advice to them?
Okay, so now that I have got some experience in both the domain, both the field,
Right.
uh, still I won't say that I'm still eligible to give advices or
Mhm.
something per
Okay.
se. But one thing I would say is like you have to strike that iron whenever it is hot, and it's always hot for 5 6 months.
All
You
right.
will have to strike it, and you can't just lay. You just can't have that layback attitude that yeah, this thing is being taught in the institute this week. I'll cover it in the next week or something like that. Even if
Right.
you lag behind because of your health or other important issues, make sure that you cover it in the very subsequent week itself. That is very
Okay.
important, because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen people, once they lag, they do not get to reach at this very uh, level, or very that point of transition phase in 5 to 6 months. They usually take more than 8 or 9 months if they start lagging
Mm-hmm.
from.
Right.
And every topic is interrelated, right from
Right.
Python to statistics, machine learning, everything is interrelated. So have to have the prior knowledge. So that is very important. That is the only reason why people do not successfully make the transition. So my advice would be study each and everything at that particular time, then and there only. Then only
All
this
right.
journey will become somewhat pleasant. It won't be. I won't say that it will be a paradise, but it will be somewhat pleasant.
All right.
And
Right.
do not fear, do not hesitate to attend interviews. Once you have completed these
Mm-hmm.
4 pillars, you are confident enough to go for interview. Do not hesitate. Be it a product based company, be it a service based company, be it a contract job, just going for the sake of interview, it doesn't matter. You just go there, get yourself humiliated. That's fine. That is also a learning curve in this field.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that was really motivating from your end to all the fellow students out there. And at the end of this interview, I would really like to thank you for giving us your time and coming here to this interview series and sharing your experience. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Diksha. It was a pleasure to share my experience, and kind of nostalgic as well. Yeah, thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
All right. So with this, we end up with this interview series episode 5. But stay tuned with learnway.co because more of the success stories are on the way. Stay tuned and keep learning. Happy learning.